Sex Interviews, Episode 1, The First Confession. Zoe Harlow sipped her triple shot espresso as the hum of the coffee shop buzzed around her. She stared at her notepad, the words Sex Chronicles scrawled boldly across the top. This was her big break, or so she hoped. Her editor had called her crazy when she pitched the idea. Interviews about people's sex lives, unfiltered and anonymous. But Zoe had a feeling. People wanted to talk. They just needed someone willing to listen. The bell above the coffee shop door jingled, and Zoe's first interviewee swaggered in. Marcus, a 35-year-old gym trainer, had all the confidence of a man who spent more time looking at himself in the mirror than most people spent looking at their phones. He slid into the chair across from her, adjusting his snug t-shirt to showcase his biceps. So, Marcus, Zoe began, flipping open her notepad. What's your most memorable moment, you know, in bed? Marcus grinned. Oh, I've got a few. But the top one? Definitely the time I tried to do a handstand mid-session. Zoe blinked. A handstand? Yeah, Marcus said, nodding enthusiastically. I thought it'd be, like, super impressive. She was cheering me on at first. Go, Marcus. But then I lost my balance and crashed into her nightstand, broke her lamp. Zoe stifled a laugh, her pen hovering over the notepad. Did she forgive you? She billed me for the lamp, but hey, you win some, you lose some. He leaned back, crossing his arms. They call me the Hercules of love. Zoe choked on her coffee, coughing as Marcus flashed her a winning smile. She couldn't decide if he was delusional or her new favorite person. Her next interviewee was Karen, a PTA president who looked like she'd walked straight out of a department store catalog. She adjusted her pearls nervously as she sat down, glancing around the coffee shop as if someone might recognize her. No one would ever guess, Karen began, her voice low, but I met my husband during a nude yoga retreat. Zoe's pen froze mid-word. I'm sorry. What? Karen blushed. It was a phase. I was trying to find myself. He tripped during downward dog and fell into me. That's how we met. Zoe bit her lip to keep from laughing. And you've been together ever since? Oh, yes, Karen said, her cheeks pink. We even spice things up with something we call Taco Tuesdays. Zoe raised an eyebrow. Should I even ask? Karen just winked, leaving Zoe to wonder whether it was a culinary tradition or something far more risque. Then came Clive, a retired rock star with sunglasses perched on his grizzled face and a leather jacket that had seen better days. He leaned back in his chair, exuding an air of someone who'd lived 3 lifetimes. Let me tell you, Clive said, smirking. The craziest thing I ever did? It involved a tambourine, a goat, and a hotel in Thailand. Zoe blinked. A goat? Clive shrugged. Relax, the goat just stole my tambourine. Not everything's that wild. By the time her final interviewee of the day arrived, Zoe was running on caffeine and disbelief. Evelyn, a spry woman in her 80s, shuffled in with a twinkle in her eye and a mischievous grin. You think you young folks know what wild is? Evelyn said, leaning forward. Honey, I was sneaking sailors into my dorm room in 1954. You don't know scandal until you've done it during a blackout drill. Zoe stared, stunned. Didn't you get caught? Oh, I got caught, Evelyn said, laughing. But what were they going to do? Kick me out? I knew the dean's secrets too well. As Evelyn left, Zoe sat back in her chair, her notepad filled with notes she could hardly believe were real. People were nuts, but maybe that was the point. Everyone had a story, and she was the one crazy enough to tell it. Her phone buzzed with a message from her editor. How's it going? Got anything good? Zoe smirked, typing back. Oh, I've got stories. You wouldn't believe them if I told you.
Alfonzo. Pierre.